should be left to voters in Bayelsa State.
Hello and welcome to the Network News on NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. Adeola Komiakere will be joining us tonight from Lagos. The Network News on NTA is always live on our website, nta.ng/live. And do follow us across all social media platforms for the latest news. President Bola Tinubu has expressed his appreciation to France for the return of $150 million looted from Nigeria by former head of state General Sani Abacha. In a statement, the president acknowledges the signing of a 100 million euro agreement between Nigeria and France to support the IDICE program, a federal government initiative to promote investment in information and communications. President Tinubu commends the strengthening of bilateral relations between Nigeria and France, noting that this progress follows his visit to Paris after his inauguration. The president, while emphasizing the need to reinforce collaboration on both political and economic fronts, welcomes the growing cooperation between the two countries in areas of shared interest, such as climate change, economic integration, education, and culture. On the situation in Niger Republic, President Tinubu, who is the chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, says Nigeria is monitoring the situation in the neighboring country and exploring diplomatic channels to avoid bloodshed. The French Minister of Europe and Foreign Affairs conveys the goodwill of President Emmanuel Macron and expresses readiness of France to expand mutually beneficial collaboration with Nigeria across multiple sectors. The federal government is determined to implement plans of the Presidential Steering Committee on Nigeria's Safe Schools project. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akome, indicated this at the National Summit on Safe Schools, organized by the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in Abuja. Dennis Temple reports.
These key players in the education sector gathered here to find lasting solutions to end the incessant attacks on school children across the country. Stakeholders underscore the importance of education to national development and outline measures to enhance security, which will ultimately improve the enrollments of students in schools.
The government is resolute in its commitment to curtailing attacks on our schools and eradicating insecurity.
For me, to secure our schools, we must leverage on intelligence, because intelligence makes planning precise and it makes actions quite.
I took a step to conduct a vulnerability survey study where we commissioned some research fellows, and the data revealed was so shocking.
The theme of the summit is tackling and identifying threats to Nigeria's Safe School project.
That as this program continues, I'll be able to get the necessary steps to take to ensure that this Safe School project reaches Taraba.
Over 300 participants, including children drawn from selected schools, attended the workshop in Abuja. Dennis Temple, NTA News.
INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu has promised to ensure the conduct of credible governorship elections in Bayelsa State come November 11. The chairman of the electoral umpire made the promise after interacting with members of the Senate Committee on INEC and its House counterpart on an oversight visit to Bayelsa State to assess the level of preparations ahead of the polls in the state. Aya Prezi reports.
The off-cycle governorship polls in Bayelsa State are just a few days away, and all eyes are on the electoral umpire to deliver credible polls. INEC chairman, who is on a working visit to the state, assures Bayelsans that the commission is poised to conduct a free and fair polls.
And our message all across is simple. Staff must be dedicated to this process. We have no candidate in the election. The choice of who becomes the governor of Bayelsa State should be left to voters in Bayelsa State. And our assurance is that we will protect the process.
The Senate Committee on INEC and the House of Representatives counterpart are in Bayelsa State in exercise of its oversight on the level of preparedness of INEC.
And from what we have seen so far, the only advice we give is to ask them to not to relent or rest on their hours.
Election does not warrant the life of anybody. We should go by the rules. INEC has done its own best.
Elections will be conducted in 2,242 polling units in Bayelsa State, and voters shall be accredited electronically through BVAS. In Yenagoa, Aya, Brazil, NTA News.
The Court of Appeals sitting in Lagos has affirmed the election of Ifeanyi Ubah as senator representing Anambra South Senatorial District. The three-man panel of justices gave the order in Lagos while adjudicating over appeals filed by some candidates of other political parties who participated in the election. The court dismissed the three appeals challenging the victory of Senator Ifeanyi Ubah in the February 25 election, holding that the appeals were incompetent and lacking in merit. The House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream is set for a comprehensive audit of the petrol subsidy regime to authenticate payments made by the federal government and the beneficiaries. The chairman of the committee, Ugo Chinyere Ike Awonu, made this known at its inaugural sitting. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ipen reports.
Fuel subsidy is gone, with ripple effects on the economy and the masses. But lawmakers are bent on reviewing the subsidy regime and pursuing recovery of unremitted revenues accruing to the federal government in the petroleum sector.
The pre-export financing arrangement and other loan arrangements in exchange for crude will be extensively reviewed and investigated. The direct sale, direct purchase, using the crude to bring in the PMS and other value chain associated with them will also be reviewed.
Meanwhile, more House committees hold inaugural sittings with assurances to enhance the health, welfare, and socio-economic well-being of Nigerians across critical sectors.
We are going to push and advocate that malaria drugs be subsidized, if not made free, at all government health centers.
We will engage MDAs under the Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology in discussions about policies, programs, and budgets needed to boost science, technology, innovation sector in the country.
Whether it is enhancing the airport infrastructure, optimizing air traffic management, or advancing aviation safety protocol, we are committed to creating an enabling environment for the aviation industry.
The census budget and census preparation, they've gone over 80%. So for anyone to say that should just go by the way, it is highly unacceptable.
The various committees promise robust legislative oversight for checks and balances on the activities of government ministries, departments, and agencies. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ipen, NTA News.
Meanwhile, participants at the just concluded cabinet retreat have expressed readiness to tackle the expected tasks ahead as the Tinubu administration sets deliverable targets. They shared their experiences with State House correspondent, but before then, that report will come in our subsequent bulletin. Now, troops of the Nigerian Army in synergy with the Department of State Services have foiled an attempted terrorist attack in Kano. In a statement by Director Army Public Relations Brigadier General Onyema Wanchukwu, a raid on the hideout in the early hours of Friday, 3rd November 2023, uncovered the terrorist plot in Geza local government area of Kano State. The Nigerian Armed Forces have also, within the last 7 days, rescued 47 hostages, eliminated 67 terrorists, and arrested 190 across the country. A statement by the Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, says 57 oil smugglers apprehended in the South-South, 96 illegal refining sites, 106 dugout pits and criminal camps have been destroyed, while 111 boats and 1 vessel and several weapons have also been recovered. If you're just joining us, this is the network news on NTA, and a new momentum has been set for governance at national level as ministers and permanent secretaries have agreed to a performance bond to fast-track growth and development in Nigeria. This was at the close of the three-day cabinet retreat for ministers, presidential aides and permanent secretaries held at the State House Conference Center, Abuja. State House correspondent Musbah Nawahab reports.
It's been 3 days of training, sectoral analysis, and knowledge sharing on how to inject new dynamics in governance and service to the nation. As it is emerging, there are new standards that the current administration would not compromise. There also are mechanisms to track the progress of delivery. The gains of the mechanisms were projected to include enhanced accountability, improve efficiency, ensure faster implementation, and align with presidential priorities, among others.
We need to have our citizens being part of monitoring what we do. So it's an important app that we're going to ensure it has wide coverage, and every Nigerian is able to tell us where we are.
And the key recommendations and priorities were also rolled out for major sectors.
Evaluate the efficiency of previous federal government intervention programs and conduct proper pre- and post-project assessment to determine the efficacy of the programs.
Now, the ship of government is raring to go, expectedly at a fast pace, and the helmsman would like to be sure of the readiness of his subordinates.
I want to obtain a promise from you. That promise is us. We promise Nigerians that we are going to work for them. Is that true? That we are going to work together as a team? That's correct. And we are going to achieve for this country. We have a responsibility to our country to make sure we change completely the narrative about Nigeria.
But then, as they go about their assignments, President Bola Tinubu emphasizes collaboration and cooperation in the various ministries to end poverty and ensure economic prosperity that the nation and its people so desire.
We must put aside personal ambitions and focus on the progress of our nation. It is through this that we can be truly proud. Yes, we the politicians, we are the soldier go, soldier come. We are the permanent secretaries. But we have to live together. You have no choice.
The ministers and their permanent secretaries agreed to a new standard for delivery as they sign the performance bond. And under this administration, President Tinubu says there shall be no tolerance for below-par performance. From the State House, Musbah Nawahab, NTA News.
And still on performance, key players at the just concluded cabinet retreat say they are ready to tackle the expected tasks ahead set by the Tinubu administration on deliverable targets. They share their experiences with State House correspondent Musbah Nawahab.
Yes, it's been 3 days of rigorous training for the ministers, presidential aides, permanent secretaries and other people involved in this cabinet retreat, and they have been taken through a series of lectures on how to conduct the activities of governments, particularly administrative processes and procedures, how the ministers are to conduct themselves during the Federal Executive Council meetings, financial regulations and fiscal management, among others. And of course, they have also been enlightened or thought how important it is for this government to nip corruption in the board, and the EFCC boss was here to take them through that process. And we spoke to some other ministers who have been attending this cabinet retreat. Let's get a feel of what they said.
So many takeaways, so many professionals, so many experts have talked to us. Managing relationship, for example, between the ministers and the permanent secretaries. Managing relationship between the permanent secretaries and other government functionaries. Managing relationship between, for example, the ministers and the office of the Secretary to Government of the Federation. All these are necessary so that there will be smooth operation among cabinet members for the benefit of all Nigerians.
It's been, a wonderful experience. I've been minister before, between 2015 and 2019. This retreat is taking a different, a different dimension. And it's more or less, a sectoral analysis, by ministers who have been there for 2 months, and so everybody is coming, to this retreat, to give projections about where we hope to be in the short term and in the medium term.
We've been able to network, we've been able to share ideas, we've been able to look at how security affects our economic development, how it affects food security and all other things. And above all, we are all in line now to make sure that we contribute our individual quota towards the attainment of the Renew Hope agenda.
We are being told to also learn how to engage the private sector and other development partners to see how together we build the nation.
We showcase our action plans, to which we have now showcased, and we are going to deliver to Mr. President in front of him. Then we sign and undertaking.
We are giving marching order by Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief to ensure that we have made up to our expectation, that once you sign it, this is what you are going to achieve in the next 4 years, and we must get there by the grace of God.
So the civil servants, it means that the civil servants have been joined in that delivery process, and so we must all work to ensure that the promises are delivered to Nigerians.
Now, training received, and it's time for the ministers, presidential aides, permanent secretaries and other people involved to get back to work. And Nigerians indeed will be waiting to see how this would translate into growth and development for the country.
Thank you, Musbao. And now to labour matters, with organised labour made up of the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress of Nigeria demanding investigations and appropriate action taken on the Commissioner of Police, Imo Command, and other persons allegedly involved in the maltreatment of the President of the Congress, Joseph Ajaero, and others in Imo State. This was at a World Press Conference in Abuja, where the NLC leadership warned of a possible industrial action beginning 8th November 2023 if the demands are not met. Joseph Otsen reports.
He was picked up at a planned protest on 1st November 2023. The organized labor is still insisting the Imo State Police Command needs to be investigated and those found wanting prosecuted, while demanding for professional medical examination of Ajaero, who is said to be in a critical condition.
Our leader, Comrade Joe Ajaero, was blindfolded, beaten to a pulp, brutalized, and taken to unknown destination, where he was subjected to more battering and torture, as well as threatening with death before help could come in his way. Feared the National Security Advisor, Mr. Nuru Ribadu, who ordered for his immediate release.
We further resolve that in the event the government fail to comply with any or all the conditions above stated, NLC, TUC, and their affiliates will no longer guarantee industrial peace and harmony in Nigeria, beginning Wednesday, 8th of November 2023.
The national leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress was in Imo State to protest what it called violation of workers' rights. It says approximately 11,000 workers and 10,000 pensioners are being deprived of salaries for about 22 months after the state government labeled them ghost workers. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
Meanwhile, in a couple of days, 200 youths in the country are going to be upgraded with digital skills for self-reliance. The training, which is also preparing them for leadership roles, is powered by the Solomon and Mary La Foundation. Ogochukwuka Ona reports.
The youths engaging in the capacity building are between the ages of 18 and 35, and the areas they are being exposed to are in web design, online marketing, cybersecurity, and the essentials of leadership, among others. This is in memory of the former governor of the Old Plateau State and founding chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Solomon La, who died 10 years ago at the age of 80. Matriarch of the La family, 88-year-old Mary La, a former Nigerian ambassador to the Netherlands and professor of curriculum development, believes that the youths have enormous role to play in nation building.
Youths are people that are young and have a young mindset for the future. They are builders.
Launched on October 6, 2022, the foundation desires a crop of youths that will take the country to greater heights.
The mission of the foundation is to work with all Nigerians to ensure that we come together and build the nation as Baba envisioned it in peace, love, and unity.
The young ones were also reminded that technology is the new oil and that their eyes should be on the ball through resilience and commitment.
You are the engine room that will drive the Nigerian economy to production. You are the cornerstone.
So please, my charge to you is invest in yourself.
Training packages for each participant include laptop, technical materials, free blog, and other items amounting to 1.5 million naira. In Abuja, Ogochukwuka Ona, NTA News.
Let's now join Adiola in our Lagos studios for more reports. Hello, Adiola.
Hello. The Lagos International Trade Fair, regarded as one of the largest international exhibitions in West Africa, has kicked off in Lagos. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, who declared open the 10-day event, said the current administration will initiate policies that will expedite transformation of a nation's economy for job creation. Joe Akpobola has that report.
The trade fair has always been an avenue to promote commerce, create value and foster collaborations among key players in the manufacturing industry. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment was represented, emphasized on the need for adoption of new innovation to accelerate the development of the Nigerian economy and improve the country's gross domestic product. He said the current administration is determined to revive ailing industries in the country by providing the enabling environment and stimulus to encourage production and create jobs.
As we embark on this journey together, let us all be reminded of the immense responsibility that comes with our roles as custodians of the economic prosperity. Our small and medium-sized enterprises are the lifeblood of our economy. They are the engines that power our growth and innovation.
President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry said this year's trade fair will be a milestone that will sustain the growth trajectory being recorded in Nigerian economy.
The theme for this year's trade fair is connecting businesses, creating value. This reflects the reality we face, and in a different sense underscores the determination of the Nigerian business community.
Lagos International Trade Fair is also expected to attract foreign direct investment into the country. In Lagos, Joel Ukbola, NTA News.
Contractor handling the Blue Line rail system has been given a 30-month deadline to deliver the second phase of the project from Mile 2 to Kokomaiko along Lagos-Badagry Expressway. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu disclosed this at the official inauguration of Yaba Overpass Bridge, which eliminates vehicular movement on train level crossing in the axis. Musa Toliat has the details.
The collision between a Lagos State staff bus and a train on PWD railway crossing on March 9 this year was a wake-up call to avert a future reoccurrence. The Yaba Overpass Bridge is, however, one of the 5 bridges completed by the Lagos State government in order to separate vehicular and train traffic on the Red Line rail track. The event presented a platform for Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to reaffirm commitment towards the completion of the Red Line rail system by the end of the year.
We will also be starting the testing on the Red Line before the end of the year, but it's not going to stop at the blue and the red alone. It's my pleasure to announce that 2 additional rail lines. The Green Line is a 68-kilometer rail route from Marina all the way to the Lekki Free Trade Zone. The Purple Line is a 60-kilometer length all the way from Redemption Cap in Ogun State to Ojo, because for a mega city like this, the reduction of greenhouse gas emission, it will make our city one of the best, one of the most resilient, one of the most forward-looking mega city in the entire world.
Red Line, when opened for passenger operations, will have an exponential effect on the economy of Lagos and the way in which we travel.
Benefits of the project include improvement of traffic flow and enhanced safety of lives and property along the rail corridor.
We want to thank Mr. Governor and want to assure him that the bridge will be well maintained. As I've said, we will not use it for trading, we will not use it for car park.
There will be security, more security around this, because we want these things to last.
The bridge takes traffic from Muritala Mohammed Way into Ojuelegba Road over the rail tracks. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And we're done.
Glad to know you stay tuned, and it's that time we talk business. I will start by telling you that the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, the Federal Civil Service branch, commenced the approval for payment of 25,000 monthly grants to vulnerable pensioners captured in the expanded National Social Register of the Conditional Cash Transfer Scheme, and efforts of the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate (PTAD) for ensuring prompt payment of monthly pension. While appealing for more pensioners to be captured in the intervention, they are also appealing for review of the pension salary and payment of backlog of arrears owed them by the federal government through the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate.
If they have enough funds, they said they are ready to pay everybody arrears. But when we are talking of monthly pension, we receive our monthly pension as at when due. The other challenges we had about federal government is this harmonization. We have been fighting for this harmonization.
A look at the energy market. Oil prices were little change on Friday, heading for their second straight week of losses as the U.S. Central Bank left the door open for possible future rate hikes and worries that the Middle East conflict would disrupt supply eased. Brent crude futures rose 6 cents to $86.91 a barrel, while the U.S. Texas Intermediate crude futures gained 12 cents to $82.58 a barrel. Both benchmarks had gained more than $2 a barrel on Thursday. Brent was on track to fall about 4% in the week, while WTI looks set to close down 3.5%. Let's now take a look at how the Naira is exchanging for other currencies in the international market. And a look at stocks. NGX closes first week in November on a positive note as the all-share index rebounds by 0.22% to close at 70,196.73 basis points, and equities gaining 75 billion naira. A total of 410.3 million shares in 6,436 deals, corresponding to a market value of 9.163 billion, were traded. Today's data shows 22% decline in volume, 50% improvement in turnover, but 23% decline in deals. The current market capitalization is 36.6 trillion naira. Fidelity Bank recorded the highest volume of 61.1 million traded shares, followed by Jopo Gold Ventures 47.7 million and United Bank for Africa 30.9 million. That is business news. Network news continues with Najatu. Najatu, it's nice doing business with you.
Thank you, Benny. Ahead of the 6th edition of the annual Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit, which is the first in the Tinubu administration, Chairman Nigerians in Diaspora Commission Abike Dabiri Erewa says the summit will promote agribusiness, technology, education, healthcare, real estate and infrastructural development of the diasporal economy. Deborah Balabobo reports.
The Diaspora Investment Summit is an annual event dedicated to fostering economic collaboration and inward investment into Nigeria by bringing foreign investors, home-based entrepreneurs into Nigeria. This year's NDIS 3-day summit, which is in partnership with Haifa International, aims to end hunger and poverty in a sustainable way with significant milestone in promoting economic collaboration, enhancing opportunities and fostering a revamped investment climate for Nigeria under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
NDIS is not just one of the surest platforms for attracting diaspora investment into the local economy, but it also serves as a vital catalyst, spurring new business startups across the country.
We saw that it's a platform, a veritable platform for us to key into, because we believe that the resources of Nigeria that are out there have a very good role to play in Nigeria's economic and social development, like the chairman of NICOM has mentioned.
Other partners, while commending NIDCOM for its commitment to improving Nigeria's economy, say they anticipate a boost in the economy of the country. The summit will feature business pitching, special sessions with lead sponsor Haifa International, policy statements, and business exhibitions. Deborah Balagbo, NTA News.
Now to Sokoto State. Islamic scholar Dr. Zakir Naik says the Quran is a panacea to all the challenges ravaging humanity and the best way to gain salvation in the hereafter. This was in Sokoto while presenting a paper rounding off the grand event of the 10th Fordio Week 2023. Dalhatu Abdullahi reports.
The celebration of Fordio Week started in 2013 as part of efforts to educate the Muslim community on the literary works of Sokoto jihadists for the benefit of the contemporary world. The renowned international Islamic scholar Dr. Zakir Naik's presentation on Quran as a global necessity highlighted the relevance of its lessons in addressing the world's socio-economic challenges. The scholar said Islam is about peace and Quran is a panacea to all problems ravaging humanity.
The glorious Quran is the last and final revelation. It was not meant only for the Muslims or the Arabs, it was meant for the whole humanity.
For Sultan of Sokoto Muhammad Saad Abubakar, it was an opportunity for Muslims to interact and learn from one another and to further spread the teachings of Islam for a better society.
And we thank Almighty Allah for making us Muslims and bringing us into this part of the world. And nothing else will change our views about Islam.
On the assumption of office, he set our authority to revitalize and the position of education in Sokoto State, not only modern education, but Islamic and moral education.
Governor Nasir Idris of Kebbi State and Deputy Governor of Zamfara State commended Sultanate Council and assured of their support toward propagating Islam. The event featured presentation of award of good governance, contribution to humanity, education and propagation of Islam to some deserving personalities. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
The Yobe State Security Council has tasked security agencies to redouble efforts by dominating the entire area to ensure that criminal elements do not have space to oppress citizens in the state. This follows an emergency security meeting after reported attacks by suspected Boko Haram insurgents on some communities in Gaidam local government area. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
As Special Advisor to the Governor on Security Matters, Brigadier General Dairo Abdusalam retired, while briefing newsmen about the outcome of the emergency security meeting, says the meeting, which was presided over by Governor Buni, has taken note of emerging security issues confronting the state. Such issues, he added, were thoroughly discussed and deliberated upon, hence far-reaching measures have been taken to enhance the security of lives and property of citizens of the state.
It's true, we have had some cases of Boko Haram attack in parts of Gaidam local government area. The attacks were targeted at soft targets by the insurgents, and in which we have recorded some casualties. The security agencies have made commitment to double their effort so that peace and stability will reign in the state.
He, however, called on people to remain vigilant and report suspicious movement and persons in their communities. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
More updates in a moment. Stay tuned.
LMC.
The Nigerian Television Authority is poised to bring in new reforms and ideas that will help stimulate better working conditions to compete favorably with the growing media world. Director General of the NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, gave the insight during an interactive session with the organization's newly elected executive members of both the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, and the Radio, Television and Theatre Arts Workers Union, Ratau, in Abuja. Francis Udojo reports.
The interactive session is mainly to introduce the management newly elected executives of the chapels of NTA, NUJ, and Ratau. It also created an avenue for the two unions to register their readiness to work with the leadership of NTA in achieving its set goals.
Whatever it is that we need to do to be able to improve our life while we are here, so that even when we are gone, we'll still be able to look at NTA and then say, this place made us. Because whether we like it or not, we are giving our all to NTA.
I and my team will bring in a new vista of purpose into this union.
Flanked by executive directors, the Director General of NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, described by the newly elected union members as a go-getter, said management had already set up two main committees to handle most of the requests put forward by the unions.
A committee has already been set up, and they are going to be given one month, that is 4 weeks, within which to report back. From there we will begin to implement. And we're also looking at the issue of revenue generation, because the chunk of what you have addressed has to do with money.
The DG urged the staff to prepare adequately for their retirement. In Abuja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
For stories trending in the sporting world, let's join Olumide Eguntola.
Nigeria's women national hockey team have qualified for the final of the Africa Hockey Olympic qualifier after beating their counterpart from Kenya 1-0. Johnson Benedicta's 3-minute strike separated the two sides. The final is scheduled for Sunday in South Africa. Only one team from the female and male teams will represent Africa at the Olympic Games in France next year. In another development, about 8,000 women from various parts of the country are expected to take part in the 2023 Lagos Women Run on the 12th of November. The 10-kilometer race, which is one of the biggest women marathon in Africa, organizers say is focused on developing the culture of long-distance running in Lagos. The race takes off from the Tafawa Balewa Square, Onikan, and terminates at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena Stadium.
Use it to train themselves, use it to condition themselves, use it to assess themselves. And that's one of the things we've been able to do. It's like a pre-event for the elite runners.
In football, Former Green Eagles player Clement Temile is promising Nigerians formidable Super Eagles players of the future, with his tentacles spread over the country under the umbrella of his football academy, Temile Football Foundation. The football initiative will also cater for ex-internationals, sick ex-players and family of deceased players, among other objectives.
I saw a lot of talent wasting. I said I want to do something exceptional for players.
Still on football, former Super Falcons player Desire Okparanozie has tipped the team to pick a ticket to the 2024 Olympic Games, having missed out of the event for almost 15 years.
I think it's about time, and I have 100% confidence in this team that they are going to pick the ticket this time.
Super Falcons' next match is against old football rival, the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon. With sports update, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
Now for a look at Saturday's weather prospects.
Okay. We have reduction in visibility due to dust haze over the northern parts of the country, and we expect further reduction come Saturday as moderate dust haze is expected. The north central should be sunny with patches of cloud and increased cloudiness to the south. However, we have chances of morning thunderstorms to parts of Bayelsa, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom State, with slim chances to parts of Taraba and southern Adamawa. By evening, we have chances of thunderstorms across parts of Taraba, southern Adamawa, Benue, Nasarawa, Plateau, most parts of the inland cities of the south, as well as the coastal cities. Next is the air quality index and weather forecast across some selected cities.
And that concludes the network news on NTA. Thanks for watching.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International, your window to the world.
We all have stories to tell.
The small boy kicked me to open fire on me, so I said, okay, you can cut the right hand. So that's for how my right hand was cut off.
He's working with clutch with which here that it was that guy, no, he's not an ordinary guy. No, he's not an ordinary. Juju he used to marry his wife.
It all depends on how I handle my story and how you're able to handle your own story.
It is what you decide in your mind that determines you, not your situation.
I don't hear well, but one thing is, we are better together.
Dushma, Lucy, Pius,
Welcome to Against All Odds on the Nigerian Television Authority, a program that brings to your doorstep the lives of persons with disability.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Just strengthen my resolve to do more. A challenge of this nature and a future of this nature is more work and more hard work, more dedication. It just appeal to the sense of patriotism of Nigeria to have a change of mindset. Let us be positive about our country, be ready to contribute in all ways possible. There's no promise of El Dorado from day one. We're all in this boat of diversity, a member of the same family, living in the same house, but staying in different rooms. And it is important